Have you ever felt like your emotions are controlling your life? Like you're on a roller coaster that never stops? Well, what if I told you there's a way to get off that ride and find peace? That's what emotional equilibrium is all about. It might sound like something only monks or spiritual gurus can achieve, but that's not true at all. It's actually a skill that anyone can learn, and it can totally change your life for the better. Think about it for a moment. Imagine waking up every day feeling calm and ready to face whatever comes your way. No more being thrown off by every little thing that happens. No more feeling stressed out all the time. That's what mastering emotional equilibrium can do for you. It's like having a superpower that helps you stay cool, calm, and collected no matter what life throws at you. Now you might be thinking, that sounds great, but is it really possible? The answer is yes. And in this video, we're going to explore how you can develop this amazing skill and transform your life. Let's talk about why this is so important. If we don't learn how to balance our emotions, life can feel like a constant battle. We might find ourselves always on edge, ready to snap at the smallest thing. Or we might feel down and blue more often than not. It's like being stuck in a fog that never lifts. But here's the thing, it doesn't have to be that way. When we learn to master our emotions, everything changes. Suddenly, we're not at the mercy of every little thing that happens. We can face challenges with a clear head and a calm heart. It's like having a secret weapon that helps us navigate life's ups and downs with grace. Think about the people you know who always seem to have it together, the ones who stay calm even when things get crazy. Chances are they've learned this skill of emotional balance, and the good news is you can learn it too. Now let's dive into something really fascinating, the mirror principle of emotions. This idea might change the way you look at your life forever. Have you ever noticed that when you're in a bad mood, everything seems to go wrong? Or when you're feeling great, good things keep happening? That's not just coincidence, it's the mirror principle in action. Here's how it works. The world around us often reflects what's going on inside us. It's like our emotions are sending out signals, and the world responds to those signals. For example, if you're feeling angry all the time, you might start to see more reasons to be angry everywhere you look. It's like you're wearing anger glasses that color everything you see. But the good news is this works both ways. If you can change what's going on inside you, you can change what you see in the world around you. It's like magic, but it's real. Let's say you decide to focus on feeling grateful. You start to notice all the good things in your life, even the small ones. Suddenly, you might find that more good things start happening. People might be nicer to you. Opportunities might show up out of nowhere. It's not that the world has changed, it's that you've changed how you see the world. This mirror principle is super powerful because it shows us that we have more control over our lives than we might think. We're not just passive observers of what's happening around us. We're actually helping to create our reality through our emotions and thoughts. Now, this doesn't mean that bad things will never happen if you're always positive. Life still has its challenges. But when you understand this principle, you have a tool to help you navigate those challenges better. You can choose to focus on the emotions that will help you most, rather than getting stuck in negative patterns. So, as we go through the rest of this video, keep this mirror principle in mind. Remember that your emotions aren't just reactions to the world. They're also helping to shape your world. By learning to balance your emotions, you're not just making yourself feel better, you're actually creating a better reality for yourself. In the next parts of this video, we're going to explore some practical ways to use this principle and master your emotional equilibrium. We'll look at how to understand your emotional reflections, why changes take time, and how to focus on positive emotions. We'll also dive into the emotion cycle and some practical tips for finding balance. Get ready to discover a whole new way of looking at your emotions and your life. This journey towards emotional equilibrium might just be the most important one you ever take. It's not always easy, but I promise you it's worth it. So let's keep going and uncover the secrets to mastering the art of serene resilience. Let's dive deeper into how our emotions work like mirrors, showing us what's going on inside. Think of your feelings as messengers. They're not just random things that happen to you. They're actually giving you important information about yourself and your world. For example, if you often feel angry, it might be telling you that something in your life needs to change. If you feel scared a lot, maybe there's something you need to face or deal with. Our emotions are like signposts, pointing us towards areas of our lives that need attention. But here's the really cool part. We can change these emotional reflections. Just like you can change your appearance in a real mirror by changing your clothes or hairstyle, you can change your emotional reflections by changing your inner world. How do we do this? It starts with becoming aware of your feelings. Pay attention to how you feel throughout the day. Don't judge your emotions as good or bad. Just notice them. This awareness is the first step to making changes. Once you're aware of your emotions, you can start to choose how you want to feel. This might sound strange at first. After all, we often think our emotions just happen to us. But the truth is, we have more control than we realize. Here's a powerful exercise you can try. Write down how you want to feel every day and why. Maybe you want to feel calm because it helps you make better decisions. Or maybe you want to feel joyful because it makes your relationships better. Whatever it is, write it down. Then start your day by reading this list. Remind yourself of how you want to feel and why it's important to you. This simple act can set the tone for your whole day. It's like giving your mind a roadmap for your emotions. Remember, this isn't about forcing yourself to feel a certain way or ignoring negative emotions. It's about gently guiding yourself towards the emotional state that serves you best. Over time, you'll find that your emotional reflections start to change, and with them, your experience of the world around you. Now let's talk about something really important: patience. When it comes to changing our emotional patterns, we need to remember that it takes time. Just like physical changes in our body don't happen overnight, emotional growth needs time too. Think about it like learning a new skill. If you wanted to learn to play the guitar, you wouldn't expect to be a rock star after one day of practice, right? The same goes for emotional equilibrium. It's a skill, and like any skill, it takes practice and patience to master. At first, you might not see big changes. You might still react to things in the old way sometimes. That's okay. It's all part of the process. The key is to keep practicing, even when you don't see immediate results. It's easy to get discouraged when things don't change right away. You might think, this isn't working, why bother? But here's the thing, change is happening, even if you can't see it yet. Every time you practice awareness of your emotions, every time you choose to respond differently to a situation, you're rewiring your brain. You're creating new emotional habits. Think of it like watering a plant. You don't see the plant grow taller every time you water it, but if you keep watering it consistently, over time you'll see it flourish. Your emotional growth works the same way. So how do we stay patient and keep going? One way is to celebrate small wins. Maybe you handled a stressful situation a little better than you would have before. Or maybe you caught yourself before reacting negatively to something. These are all signs of progress. Acknowledge them and be proud of yourself. Another helpful tip is to keep a journal of your emotional journey. Write down how you're feeling each day, what challenges you faced, and how you dealt with them. Over time, you'll be able to look back and see how far you've come. This can be really motivating when you're feeling stuck. Remember, your new, calmer self will show up if you stay patient and keep practicing. It might not happen overnight, but it will happen. And when it does, you'll be amazed at how different you feel and how differently you interact with the world around you. Now let's talk about a powerful secret to emotional equilibrium: focusing on positive emotions. Our minds are like magnets. They tend to attract more of whatever we focus on most. This means that if we spend a lot of time thinking about negative things, we'll probably notice more negative stuff in our lives. But if we focus on positive emotions, we'll start to see more positive things around us. This doesn't mean we should ignore negative emotions or pretend everything is perfect all the time. That's not realistic or healthy, but it does mean we can choose to put more of our attention on positive feelings like peace, joy, and love. How do we do this? One way is to practice gratitude. Each day, try to think of 3 things you're thankful for. They don't have to be big things. Maybe you're grateful for a warm cup of coffee, a text from a friend, or a beautiful sunset. By focusing on these good things, you're training your mind to notice the positive aspects of your life. Another way to focus on positive emotions is to do things that make you feel good. This could be different for everyone. Maybe for you it's listening to music, going for a walk in nature, or spending time with loved ones. Whatever it is, make time for these activities regularly. They're not just fun, they're actually helping to rewire your brain towards more positive emotions. You can also practice visualizing positive emotions. Close your eyes and imagine yourself feeling calm, happy, or confident. Really try to feel these emotions in your body. The more you do this, the easier it becomes to access these positive feelings in your daily life. Remember, the goal isn't to be happy all the time. That's not realistic. The goal is to build up a reservoir of positive emotions that can help balance out the negative ones. It's like saving up for a rainy day. When tough times come, and they will, you'll have these positive emotions to draw on. As you practice focusing on positive emotions, you might start to notice some amazing changes. You might find yourself smiling more or feeling more optimistic about the future. You might even notice that other people respond to you differently. That's the power of positive emotions at work. But don't just take my word for it. Try it for yourself. For the next week, make a conscious effort to focus more on positive emotions. See what changes you notice in your life. You might be surprised at how much of a difference it can make. Remember, this isn't about ignoring reality or pretending everything is perfect. It's about choosing where to put your mental energy. By focusing more on positive emotions, you're not just making yourself feel better in the moment. You're actually shaping your long-term emotional landscape and creating a more positive reality for yourself. The emotion cycle. Now let's explore something really fascinating, the emotion cycle. Understanding this cycle can be a game changer in mastering your emotional equilibrium. It's like having a map of your emotional landscape. The emotion cycle starts with noticing your feelings. This might sound simple, but it's actually a skill that many of us need to practice. We're often so busy that we don't take time to check in with ourselves. Start by pausing a few times each day to ask yourself, how am I feeling right now? Don't judge your emotions or try to change them. Just notice them. Once you've noticed your feelings, the next step is to choose how you want to feel. This doesn't mean forcing yourself to feel happy all the time. It means deciding what emotional state would serve you best in that moment. Maybe you want to feel calm before a big meeting or confident before a difficult conversation. After you've chosen your desired emotion, the next step is to act as if you already feel that way. This might feel strange at first, like you're pretending. But here's the thing, your body doesn't know the difference between a real emotion and one you're acting out. By behaving as if you feel a certain way, you can actually start to generate that feeling. The final step in the cycle is to watch for signs of your chosen emotion in your life. Remember the mirror principle we talked about earlier? This is where it comes into play. As you start to embody your chosen emotion, you'll likely start to see more evidence of it in your world. For example, let's say you choose to feel more confident. You start acting as if you're confident, standing tall, and speaking with assurance. Soon, you might notice that people are responding to you differently. Maybe they're listening to your ideas more, or you're getting new opportunities. These are all signs that your chosen emotion is taking root. The key to making this cycle work is to keep practicing it. It's not a one-time thing. It's a continuous process of noticing, choosing, acting, and observing. Over time, you'll find that you have more control over your emotional state, and you're creating more of the experiences you want in your life. Now that we understand the emotion cycle, let's look at some practical tips you can use every day to maintain your emotional balance. These are simple techniques, but they can be incredibly powerful when used regularly. First up is deep breathing. This might sound too simple to be effective, but trust me, it works wonders. When you're feeling stressed or overwhelmed, take a moment to focus on your breath. Breathe in slowly through your nose for a count of 4, hold for a count of 4, then breathe out slowly through your mouth for a count of 4. Do this a few times, and you'll likely feel calmer and more centered. Next, let's talk about gratitude practice. We touched on this earlier, but it's worth emphasizing because it's so powerful. Each day, try to think of 3 things you're grateful for. They can be big or small. Maybe you're thankful for your health, a kind word from a friend, or a delicious meal. By focusing on what's good in your life, you're training your brain to notice the positive. Another great tool for emotional balance is regular meditation. Now, don't worry if you've never meditated before or if you think you can't sit still. Meditation doesn't have to be complicated. Start with just 5 minutes a day of sitting quietly and focusing on your breath. When your mind wanders, and it will, gently bring your attention back to your breath. Over time, this practice can help calm your mind and make you more resilient to stress. Remember, these practices are like exercise for your emotional muscles. The more you do them, the stronger and more balanced you'll become. Don't worry if they feel awkward at first. That's normal. Just keep practicing and you'll start to see the benefits. I want to share a bit about my own journey with emotional equilibrium. When I first learned about these ideas, I was skeptical. It all seemed too simple to really make a difference. But I was struggling with stress and anxiety, so I decided to give it a try. At first, it felt like nothing was changing. I'd try to focus on positive emotions, but I'd still get upset over little things. I'd practice deep breathing, but I'd forget to use it when I really needed it. There were times when I thought about giving up, but I kept at it. I made a commitment to practice these techniques every day, even when I didn't feel like it. And slowly, almost without me noticing, things started to change. I found myself staying calmer in situations that would have stressed me out before. I started to bounce back more quickly from setbacks, and I noticed that I was generally happier and more content. One day, a friend commented on how much more relaxed I seemed. That's when I realized how far I'd come. These simple practices had really changed my life. I'm sharing this because I want you to know that it's possible. No matter where you're starting from, you can develop emotional equilibrium. It takes time and practice, but it's worth it. The peace and resilience you gain are priceless. As we wrap up this journey into emotional equilibrium, I want to remind you of something important. This is a skill that anyone can learn. It doesn't matter how emotional or stressed out you might feel right now. With practice and patience, you can develop the ability to stay calm and balanced even when life gets tough. Remember, emotional equilibrium isn't about never feeling negative emotions. It's about being able to navigate all your emotions in a healthy way. It's about having the tools to return to a place of balance when life knocks you off center. We've covered a lot in this video. We've talked about the mirror principle and how our inner world reflects in our outer experiences. We've explored the emotion cycle and how to use it to shape your emotional state. And we've looked at practical tools like deep breathing, gratitude, and meditation that you can use every day. Now it's up to you to put these ideas into practice. Start small. Maybe begin with just a few minutes of deep breathing each day, or try the gratitude practice we talked about. Remember, every step you take towards emotional balance is progress. As you practice these techniques, be patient with yourself. Change takes time. There might be days when you feel like you're not making progress. That's okay. Just keep going. Every time you practice, you're strengthening your emotional muscles. Imagine how different your life could be if you mastered this skill of emotional equilibrium. How would it change your relationships, your work, your overall happiness? The possibilities are exciting. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of emotional equilibrium. I hope you found it helpful and inspiring. Remember, you have the power to shape your emotional world. It's a journey, and it starts with a single step. Why not take that step today? If this video has been helpful to you, please consider liking and subscribing to our channel. Share it with friends who might benefit from learning about emotional equilibrium. And don't forget to leave a comment below. I'd love to hear about your experiences with these techniques or any questions you might have. Here's to your journey towards emotional balance and serene resilience. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.